What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Filip Latocha. Today we're going to be discussing the topic of how to train for a triathlon of any sort of length or distance in addition to a marathon at the same time. How to overlap those workouts together to make a really nice structured training plan. What I've done historically, what I've heard about historically, and basically kind of just talking about also how I'm doing it right now in 2021 with my current race plan that's coming up. So before we get into it, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. You guys know how this goes. If you're already subscribed to the channel and watching this video, love you guys very much. Thank you so much as well. Without further ado, small disclaimer, I suppose. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a running coach. I'm not a physical therapist or anything like that. Basically, everything I'm giving you is things I've read online, have played telephone with in terms of information, things I've done anecdotally, and basically I'm just going to give you that information and just, you can do whatever you want with it, but I'm also kind of giving you what I'm doing with it right now and hoping for the best results in the next 2 months. So, speaking of the next 2 months, this is what my training plan is supposed to build up to. First and foremost, next month I'm going to be in altitude training camp for about a month at about 8,000 to 9,000 feet, which is a huge jump from Chicago, which is like 500, 600 feet. A lot of that work is going to be volume and hopefully some harder efforts to start building into my race block, which happens immediately as I come back from altitude camp, which is the Chicago Triathlon at the end of August, Ironman 70.3 Madison, Wisconsin, mid-September, and then the Chicago Marathon in like early October. So that's 3 major races in 2 months. And this training plan, hopefully in 2021, will be able to keep me fit and in a position to not just finish, but potentially win some of these races in the smaller categories, whether it be an age group or like an overall in male brackets. So we'll see how those things kind of go. Granted, the triathlons have a lot more elements than just the training, like bikes and stuff. We won't get too deep into that. So this here, the list I've got, is basically the training program that I've played telephone with, that I've used historically and has pretty much bared really great fruit from the past. So typically this kind of workout starts on a Monday, which is an easy run and an easy bike. The easy run is maybe like an hour long. Easy bike is probably like 30 minutes to an hour. And those are interchangeable as well. You can do the bike first, run later. They don't have to be a brick. They can just be one in the morning, one in the afternoon, or wherever you see fit. You can plug them in. If you want to do it as a brick workout, you're more than welcome to. Tuesday is a long swim and tempo run kind of day. And again, that's interchangeable as well. So a long swim in this case is anything more than a mile, so about 1,600 meters plus. And then the tempo run, again, is going to be slightly above the easy run distance, and you're going to do some kind of tempo workout, whether it's threshold intervals, tempo intervals, some kind of track workout. That's what this is for. And if you can turn this workout into a brick, that's the most ideal outcome for this Tuesday. So Tuesday is going to be a bit of a harder day on this program. Wednesday is going to be the peak of this particular block per se, which is the TT simulation. So it's either your triathlon simulation or your time trial simulation. So the way this would work is one of a couple ways, but the two that I've done historically is this. You either do the swim, bike, run as a sprint to Olympic distance, I guess you can say, workout. So if you have the ability to do all 3 in one day, go for it all in one go. Or you do a time trial simulation in this kind of front, where you do a 2x5 or a 2x3. It's either you can bike for 10 minutes and then run for 10 minutes, and then bike for 20, run for 20, bike for 30, run for 30. Bike treadmill kind of jumping thing. So this is basically, it's going to be a really hard transitional triathlon kind of training simulation. So we can go into this one a little bit later in terms of how you break down this kind of day. Thursdays go a little bit something like this, and this one can also interchange depending on how hard your Wednesday was. It would be basically an easy run and then a long bike ride. So with this one, the long bike ride definitely has to be something less than 2 hours if it's possible. And then if you have the easy run, great, you would do that either afterwards or beforehand. But the other alternative to this Thursday is you have the easy run, and then you have a tempo interval threshold kind of bike workout where you do some sort of intervals, whether it be like 3 by 20 minutes at a certain wattage, depending on like whatever you've been coached to do or whatever you know is like your tempo interval watt, I guess you can say, and also watch your heart rate for that as well. This is a good time to do that for a Thursday workout. And now this is where we start descending on that effort pyramid a little bit. Friday would typically be your quote-unquote rest day, and that's usually going to be an easy swim and an easy bike. So no running if you don't need to do it. And the easy swim could be like 20 minutes, the bike could be like 20 minutes, and then, you know, we're pretty much done for that Friday. Saturday is now also interchangeable with Sunday depending on how you play it. So in this case, Saturday is your long run. You obviously need this for the marathon. It's also great fitness to have for your triathlon training overall. Sunday is going to be a long bike ride, and usually that's all you would do. But if you have the extra energy after your long bike ride, you would add an easy run into this training block, whether it be a brick or you just do it later on during the day. That's kind of the idea of what you would go for. Sunday can also be this, depending on the week. So you can interchange it either to have the long bike with the easy run, and then you can also do the Sunday after that as another triathlon simulation where you do the swim, bike, run, and you try to do it at more like whatever your ideal race distance simulation is. It doesn't have to be the same efforts, just get the distances. So you can play around with that however you want to accomplish that particular goal. Also, as a caveat with this entire training plan, is what I've done is wherever I had some additional time and I had some like kinks on the body, whether it be like sore legs, sore shoulders after swimming, or weird arm twitches or things like that, I would add strength training days or like 20 to 30 minutes of weightlifting into these particular days just to clear up those particular like scratches on the body per se. And obviously they would help recover, they would prevent injury, and they were overall really good to have in this workout. So again, this is the training program I used during my 70.3 in 2019, with the one caveat being that I did have a broken foot. So just keep that in mind when you see all this running and all this working out. That like recovering from my broken foot in like less than 3 to 4 months with this training program was very easy because of the blood flow I was having on my body, rather than just sitting all day long and not being able to necessarily train to get in fitness while, you know, my foot was broken. And now we're going to go over what's going on right now in my particular training plan as I am approaching closer and closer to my altitude training camp. So basically, as we mentioned before, this starts on a Monday. So in this case, it was Monday, July 5th. It looks like I had my easy run during my lunchtime at work. Then I had a leg day in between my run and then my bike. Not so easy, but it had a little more distance than usual, I guess, comparatively speaking to most of my Zwift rides. But 15 miles, you know, for some people this is an easy ride. So Monday, perfectly accomplished. Job well done on that front. Tuesday, okay. Looks like it was a hot day. I did about 8 miles at about 6:20 pace. That seems like it was definitely a tempo day. Looks like I was also running through the city, so there must have been some stop-go. So the intervals might have been a little skewed running through the city. Some upper body stuff. And it looks like it was for 20 minutes, so that means it must have been some kind of warm-up set for this swim, which was 1,200 yards. Very cool. All right, sounds good. Gugel experimentation. Oh yeah, right. And then of course, if you're doing a brick workout, you gotta have some kind of gels, whatever you're comfortable with. In this case, I do have some birthday cake flavored gels that I use in between my run and swim workouts. They're pretty solid. I like them a lot. Okay, Wednesday. It looks like better weather now for nutrition and food. Okay, so it was a little bit more of a moderate run once more. So that's kind of not unusual. I did not do a triathlon simulation from the looks of it. I did have an upper body and back day, and then I did a bike ride that looks like it was a lot shorter than usual. Legs are as tired as the Tour de France. Oh yeah, so that must have been a pretty hard day, so I didn't do the triathlon simulation at all. Okay, and then Thursday, what's going on? It looks like 10 miles of running, 6:10 pace. It looks like these runs are pretty intense from the looks of it. And then we have an afternoon activity. I'm guessing this would be more or less some kind of leg day, I suppose, as well. And then it goes into a 10-mile bike ride. So according to this plan, It's pretty close to what the Thursday is supposed to be. The bike ride is not nearly as long. The run was definitely pretty long, so that's pretty good, I would say. Friday. Okay, so I ran on Friday about just under 6 miles. Not bad. I have another upper body day, and then I have a swim. Okay, so that means Friday I didn't really need that rest day, and it looks like instead of biking, I chose to more or less... Oh, no, hold on a minute. Okay, it looks like I did bike on Friday, and I had somewhat of a triathlon simulation where I did a run, swim, bike. And they must have not been bricked. They must have been just like at separate times during the day. So Friday must have been volume-wise a longer day, but probably easy overall based on what I'm seeing here with the run. So, okay, cool. I changed up a couple of things. Not too bad, I suppose. Okay, Saturday. All right, so this was, oh yeah, the day I got the Mach 4s. Let's go. So that must have been a little bit of a longer run. Probably felt really good. Saturday should be a long run day. It looks like the long run was not accomplished, however. But there was a longer bike ride yesterday as well, and I did an upper body workout. So, okay, I guess I was mixing it up just a tad. Now, today, let's see what happened. Okay, so it was a moderate run as well. I did some sort of warm-ups that led into a slightly longer swim, and I did a shorter bike ride. So instead of doing a long bike ride kind of day, I guess I did some kind of TT simulation, again, not in the right order as before. Okay, so as you can see, I do have some slight variations from what I'm doing according to the previous training plans I've always been working with. If I were to give myself any sort of advice, it would definitely be to start increasing the volumes on the swims and the bikes, for sure. It looks like at this point I'm doing about 50 to 55 miles of running a week, which is like perfect for triathlon training in my opinion. A lot of elites do kind of sit in this running range overall, so they have more time to focus on their bike workouts, and that's definitely where I'm lacking, is in my bike and my swim. What else is good? Well, I can't skip the long run. That's also something really important for the marathon training block, is you gotta put in that time for the long run, and then be content with not doing any other type of swim or bike the day you do the long run. And if you do the long run and you still have energy in the tank to, do those workouts, good. But prioritize the long run for sure. And then the last thing I would definitely address with this particular training program is, if you saw what was going on, or if you caught the pattern, it's that my runs were always first, and they're always the first thing I do during my days. Now, I think the advice I remember hearing in the past was, whichever art is the hardest for you to do is the first one you should do every day. Running for me at this point in time is easy, in the sense that, like, it's very easy for me just to, like, wake up, get dressed, put on shoes, and just go for the run. But getting into the water is like half the battle for me. Getting on my bike is half the battle for me. So at this point, it might make more sense moving forward to basically start swimming first, and then doing the entire workouts in the order that the triathlon would go. So like, if it's going to be a swim, bike, run, and my workouts are to bike and swim, then you do the swim and bike. If I have to run a certain day, it'd be like a swim run or like a bike run. You know what I mean? So start doing it in the order of which the race is going to be, so you start practicing that transitional physique, I guess. Physique's not the word I'm looking for. I think the transitional feeling of your body, where once you get off the bike, all the blood is in your quads, and now it's got to get into your calves and kind of your arms for that arm swing. Just practicing that is going to be extremely vital to the triathlon moving forward. And then as long as you keep all of that volume, whether it be on the bike and the swim, that lower heart rate work is going to pay dividends in the marathon when you start having to run a little bit longer at a lower heart rate, and you've built that zone 2 area, that potentially zone 3 kind of heart rate area for your marathon race overall. And that's just going to pay itself off very well in the long run, just to be able to have that additional cross training in addition to your marathon training runs. So I think I'm going to leave this video here for now. So far, if I had to assess myself, there's a lot of volume work I still need to do. And of course, you probably know yourself what kind of distance you need to do as a runner. And if you don't, I mean, I'm not a coach, I can't really provide that information for you. But usually you can play it off by feels. Like running is very simple, like you always add 10% to what you can do this week, etc., etc. The bike work is typically pretty linear, so the longer you're on the bike, the better you progress. Same thing with the swim, like the longer you're in the water, the longer you're going to progress, or the better it's going to be, etc., etc. So yeah, that's going to be the play moving in the next couple of weeks, is to hopefully keep the same number of workouts but start increasing their volume, if not starting to add more TT simulations. So I think I'm going to end the video here. If you like what you watched here, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, just throw them into the comments below. It's a good place to discuss these ideas. So I will end the video right here. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys real soon.